Salesforce is the largest market share CRM solution in the world for enterprises. And Zoom Phone is integrated with Salesforce for a while now. That was version 1. Today, we're going to look at version 2. What advancements has Zoom made in the extensibility and development platform of Salesforce and Zoom Phone? We're going to demo that next. But before we demo it, we also need to acknowledge that Zoom Phone integrates with many CRM platforms in the world. Dynamics 365, HubSpot, Zendesk, Outreach. Those are just a few of the small business, mid-market, and enterprise level CRMs out there. But Salesforce being the predominant one, we really want to dive into it with version 2 of the Zoom Phone integration. And in order to do that, I'm bringing in a surprise guest. Well, welcome to the show. As is typically what I do when I have a guest, I always invite a guest that's way smarter than me. Therefore, we can get the full capabilities of what we're talking about today. And today, I do have a special guest. Deji, please introduce yourself and why are you here?
Thanks, Patrick. I feel special to be on one of these guest shows. That's awesome. Well, I'm DJ. I work as a technical sales architect for Zoom. So I help our customers, I help our SC community with our commerce just break the gap between product engineering and just in terms of also enablement, what we're doing, what's coming up in the next release, and just help drive our Zoom phone and contact center capability much further. Why are we here today? We're here to talk about an exciting release of a new version of Salesforce. Our Salesforce integration has been brilliant. It's been well received with our customers. It's helped drive productivity and it's helped cut down the loss of productivity. I remember, funny enough, Patrick, a while ago when you did the initial one, we talked about statistics that says customers typically within a day context switch about 1,200 times. So they will move between one app and the other. And that process leads to a loss of productivity. I think it's about 9%. So one of our drive in Zoom is to help customers gain that 9% back by reducing context switching. And this is why we have our Salesforce integration, help customers live within the space where they're most productive, where they're comfortable with, and just have all their business tools and applications available to them. And what we've done is to improve on this. So today we'll be talking about how have we improved on the already fantastic Salesforce integration that we have.
Well, I think it's arguable that Salesforce is probably the largest CRM integration point in the world today. More people using Salesforce than any other CRM product. And with Zoom's philosophy of our development platform, our extensibility platform, you're absolutely right? We want to cut down on toggle tax and increase that application affinity so users can stay in one app longer, creating a more productive environment. So one of the main reasons why I invited you is because you told me that there's a new version of the Salesforce integration with Zoom Phone out. I would love for you to be able to show us what that looks like and why we even made those changes.
Absolutely, and that's great. I'm kind of I get excited because I know what is to come. I know what I'm about to show you, and you are going to say by the time we go through this release, and our customers will say that this is indeed perfection. If you want to talk about CRM perfection, the version 2 of our Salesforce integration is close to CRM perfection. So let's dive into it.
I'm excited.
So Patrick, the first place to start is to look at the UI. Okay. What are the differences? So we've made different changes or improvements within different aspects of the integration. The first I want to tell you about is the UI. On the right, I have the old integration. And on the left, I have the new Salesforce integration for Zoom Phone. And I am sure you agree with me. One looks way better than the other one right away, right? The one on the left looks so slick, it's intuitive, it looks really professional, it looks really close to what I call perfection. The one on the right, which is our old integration, while it's good, while it's great, we still believe that we can improve on it. So we've done a few changes with the new one, which is on the left. Now, coming on to the key aspect of the UI, on the with the one on the right, what we had with the tabs was we had a keypad, your history, and then your SMS tab. Okay, this is where context switching really comes into play because with a new release, what we've done is we've added a few additions. We have now a voicemail addition into the tab, but also the history tab meant something completely different. On in the old one, what you had with a history tab was it wasn't actually a call history. So if a user or representative wanted to actually know their call history, in the old tab, you had to go somewhere else. Again, we talk about that context switching where you begin to lose time. You're moving between applications. You have to go into Zoom Phone to do that. Whereas now with the new release, this history that you have right on the left is actually a true representation of Zoom Phone call history. You don't have to go anywhere else. Right here, you can see all of your calls, looks clean and nice with all the timestamps that you will have. The other thing that we did is we've now have the ability for our customers to actually see their voicemail right in here in the application without going anywhere else.
Gotcha.
Absolutely fantastic.
Agreed. Yeah, that looks a lot cleaner, a lot more modalities on the left side, a lot easier to navigate. And you're absolutely right. As a salesperson, your primary job is to be making phone calls, generating revenue. And this allows you to do that more simply and effectively, I think.
Absolutely. The next thing to talk about is going to be what we do around screen pop. Okay. However, before I go into that, there's another little clever thing that we did with this. Within your call history now, you now have the option to add notes. Think of a scenario where you've made a call, you've engaged the customer, but for one reason or the other, you were not able to add your notes into that call. You can now go onto your call history and then you can just begin to add additional calls. Okay, forgot to add notes to the call. And just update your note as required, and the notes are automatically saved right in there. So you could go back, just talk about go back to your keypad as well. But this flexibility to just be able to go between each call, and I can just go between any call that I've made, however long it is, and say, okay, I can add notes to that and come back and update my notes. And this gets added onto the call details within the Salesforce application. This, we believe, is an incredible add to the integration itself.
Well, that's the major reason why companies use any sort of CRM application, right? Is to call record and as well as disposition every single call and why you
Absolutely.
made that call, why that call was made to you, what the purpose of that call was, what the outcome of that call was. I love this new feature that you can do it post call because a lot of times, right, you're in the middle of the call and you're really into it and you don't need to be taking notes during the call. It takes away from your
Absolutely.
presentation.
Absolutely. You're spot on, Patrick. The
Fantastic.
next one to talk about here is, and you can see, I can feel your excitement. You can feel my excitement. We're buzzing because these are things that really, really create value for our customers. And these are the things that differentiate us at Zoom, right? We are forward thinkers, we're innovative. We just think of ways to make things better for our customers. The next thing to show you is Screen Pop. You and I know that Screen Pop is so vital within a CRM application. It's more like what you want to say, the beat and end it of it all.
Mhm.
I want to know, well, a call is presented to an agent. We want to know the details. Some of those notes that we talked about now, I want to see if there's a detail, the notes attached to that call, and the like. Now, what we the feedback that we got back from our customers was in the past on the old integration, when a call comes in, this the screen pop while the call is in a ringing state. So imagine an agent is not at their desk. Call comes in, it rings. Well, call detail pops in. They come back. They will have an idea. Oh, maybe somebody. Imagine if two, three calls have come in and rang, and there's different calls popping up. It created an experience that was not optimal. So in improving that experience, what we now did was that we now have the ability to control when that screen pops on for the customer. So I will give you, let's do a quick call into the platform and you will see what I mean by this. Okay, so this is the screen pop demo. As you can see, the call comes in. And at this point, the call is ringing. I have not popped in any call details. We have the customer details on there. Once we answer that call, all of the customer details records get popped on onto the screen, as you can see here. And this was one of the things we were talking about in terms of at what state do we do the screen pop? And this was what our customers wanted to see. The other thing that we significantly improved upon is the look and feel of the integration of our CTI connector when a call is answered. So from here, I can decide to stop a recording, I can mute the call, and then, but more importantly, I can go back and forth between this call and this becomes even more powerful when I demo the multiple call experience, which is coming next. So right here, I'm here. I can decide to mute this call from here. I can put the call on hold and just all of this, all of the things you could do, but just with a much cleaner and a much better interface for our customers. And the note page, you can toggle back and forth on the note page. The other thing that we've done right here is the ability to provide a couple of objects. Right here, we've added a few fields into the integration. And one of that is what is called the relate to current object. What this means is that if a call comes in into your CRM application with this integration, and this, for some reason, this detail page, the page that I have, is not what is related to the call. You could just quickly go and look for another object, an account object, and search for an account and say that, okay, with the account, this is what this call should be related to. This is a powerful tool in that imagine a customer that has 1,000 sales lead with multiple accounts in there. You could easily just relate this call to the task at hand or to the call detail page at hand by just doing current object rather than having to search through thousands and thousands of records. So this is one of the great improvements that we've added to the application.
So it's easy enough to understand how we make a call in Salesforce using Zoom Phone, obviously using the dial pad or contacts or the accounts attributes of inside of Salesforce. It's easy enough to understand how do we receive a call, right? It's easy to understand how do we record notes and stuff like that. But a lot of times too, we need to access contacts within Salesforce, within Zoom Phone. How do we do that?
That's a great question. And it also gives me the opportunity, Patrick, to show you some of the nuances or the improvements we've made with the new Salesforce application. Looking for a contact is as simple as searching a contact in the search part there, and all your contact come up. However, some of the changes that we've made with this now is we've had the ability to support something we call custom attributes within Salesforce. You see this DNC. So DNC means do not call. Of course, you have interacted with many customers and they've told you, don't call me, don't call this number. For one reason or the other, you want the ability or the visibility into what numbers you should call, what customers you should not call. We now support that in the version 2 integration. We didn't have this in the old release. The other beautiful thing we've done is we have now added tags onto numbers. In this now, you can now distinguish between what is a mobile number, what is a landline number, a regular phone number. It just gives you, so all in this single pane, we give you the visibility into different moving parts of your contract. Is this a mobile number? Is it a regular phone number? Should I call this user or not on this number? And this is one of the beautiful things we've added to the new integration.
Those are all great improvements. I guess the next one I heard a rumor is there's a new solution for multiple calls experience, correct?
That is indeed correct, Patrick. And these will thrill our customers. Just the way you are able to intuitively and seamlessly switch between multiple calls with a new integration. So let me demo this. Okay, this is going to be our first call, Patrick, into the call. So
Okay.
the agent has answered the first call. Okay, so at this point in time, the agent is dealing with the customer. He's talking to them, taking a few notes in here. And while that is ongoing, a second call comes in. Okay, so this is the second call. A different customer is calling, and one of the first things you say is you have different options there. Nice, intuitive way I can hold that call.
Mhm.
Okay, so I have put one call on hold right away. Okay, and then the other options. So with that, I can go back. You can swap between calls. But one of the most important things here, Patrick, is that you can carry on working, taking notes as you're working with this customer. So right now, I'm working with the other customer. I've decided that, and then you can also get all the call details that you want. But I've decided that I'm going to swap. Okay, so this is now, and I also have all the access to the call logs that I have with the customer. Okay, all the call logs, all the notes page. So I can go in there and say, this is Hopin FC requesting, if I can type properly, Patrick. Okay, requesting updates on that. And you have the same, all the call interface between this call. So you can imagine this agent at this point, okay, is dealing with this customer, then needs to put this customer on hold because they need to get more information. And all we have to do is we can just come back here and swap the call. Guess what? We're back with the other customer. Oh, and we tell them, sorry for keeping you waiting. We're just getting more details for you. So the agent can switch between calls seamlessly, can add notes, can go back to call detail, can choose to stop recording, add recording. You just have so much intuitive way to deal with multiple calls without a hassle, without any hassle. Our old integration, while it was great, we felt that we needed to improve on some of the look and feel and the ease with which our customers interact with this in this scenario. What do you think of that?
That is a fantastic improvement because as we as salespeople and those are that are agents, you are certainly talking to multiple customers, multiple vendors, multiple partners all the time, and there's always a chance you're going to get multiple calls, and you're going to need to juggle all these things. I love this seamless integration between going back and forth.
I'm glad you like it. Patrick, I'm going to then take you into, as we build a crescendo here, I'm going to show you how exciting, how I feel. I feel very excited about just how we can make little changes and then just quadruple the effect that this could have on our customers and how they engage with their businesses and their business processes. Call recording, voicemail, they're really important part of any call, any voice solution. And how can you seamlessly do that without customers going between one thing or the other? Earlier on, we talked about call history, where we didn't actually have a full call history on the other one. In this new release, you just don't have your call history. You can actually see the details of your call history. You can see right in here which call is recorded, which call is not recorded. Some of the challenges that we had with the old call, with the old integration, or some of the improvements we felt we needed to do was there was no easy way to see which call was recorded within the application itself. So here I can scroll through all my call logs, scroll through all my call history. I can see the calls, but critically, I can say this call is recorded and part within this integration itself, you can actually play your recording. That is fantastic. Now, to add to this, I can go into my task page, and then if I wanted to go in here and see more details of some of my calls that I've made, watch this now. I can call into that, they see the call history, but we have now done something much more to improve this experience. Where in the past you would have a button, and I think I will be able to show you what we had with the old one here. But looking at the new one, the excitement of this, if I click on this recording tab now, I get a new page where I can play the recording, but more importantly, all the transcription for your recording right here on your web page. You have not gone anywhere. You have not had to listen to it on the phone. Right here, right now, you can listen to the recording just there. You can get a full detail of all the transcription of the recording. Isn't that amazing?
I love your contagious excitement. That is fantastic. These are drastic improvements, and I think every Salesforce customer and every Zoom Phone customer is going to really enjoy this version too.
And the same thing for voicemail as well. I can come in here. Notice that there is no recording on this call. So you do not get that little speaker icon on the call. I have the voicemail. So it tells me that yes, there is a voicemail for the call. And the same way I can go in there, I can play my voicemail recording, and I can, in the same vein, see all the transcription for that recording.
Yeah, and I love that the experience from a user perspective is very similar, whether it's recording or voicemail. There's nothing new to learn here. It's both these same actions on the user's part.
Right. The last part of what I wanted to show you here about the new integration is something we call unlinked call logs. What does this mean? In the old with our old integration, let me give you a scenario of a remote worker or a sales guy who is on the move most of the time. He will most of the time make calls, go to his Zoom phone application, make calls on his mobile, talking to customers all day. What then usually happens then was that all of those call logs were not synced, will not be synced into Salesforce until he physically sits at the desk and then logs in, and then all of the data then gets pulled out. Now, what are the ramifications of that? Imagine his supervisor calls him and say, look, what's going on? I'm looking for certain call records. I can't see all this. Like, oh yeah, I'm talking to this customer. He's like, well, I'm searching Salesforce. I don't see that record. Okay. Oh, and then he says, oh, well, you have to wait till I come in the next day, log into my Salesforce application, then you can see the record. However, we've done away with that. We've improved massively on that today. So what we've now done is that we use our webhook events such that the moment the agent places the call on their phone, on their mobile, wherever they are, the moment that call is done, we pull that instantly into Salesforce. So if the customer has auto save record, for example, enable, all of that data is saved for them automatically. Now, the agent or revenue is on the road, he's making calls. The supervisor is there in the office, can see in real time all the call data, all the call records, and if there is any information, if there's anything that is needed to be provided, even though the agent is not physically in the office, that data, the metrics, the analytics is available to them. That I think is wonderful.
That is huge, right? Is because real-time data is essential to revenue. And certainly from a boss's perspective, from a salesperson's perspective, you're absolutely right. In the past 3 years, we weren't on the road a lot, right? We were usually making calls from home or from a remote, but now we are on the road. We are in the airports making those business calls, and those records need to be synchronized real time, or they're kind of sometimes outdated. And I can see how that's a huge benefit over version 1.
Absolutely, big one. And just for reference, this is where you will see the unlinked Zoom call logs. So all of these call logs that were not linked, and now customers can just come in there and choose these records, and you can then save them. So if these records that we're talking about were not linked, if the customer has auto save enabled. They don't even need to do this. It's automatically pushed. But because of my own setup here, all I can do is just save to Salesforce and voila, like magic, all the records have been pushed into Salesforce. That's it, Patrick. These are the fantastic improvement I wanted to show you today with regards to our Salesforce version 2 integration.
This has been enlightening as always. I appreciate your time and showing me all these new wonderful advancements in version 2. And not only am I excited about it, as you are excited about it, I'm sure our customers are going to be just as excited about it.
Absolutely. We do hope that's our hope, that's our pride and joy, Patrick, is to bring innovations, improvements that shape in how our customers do business, and for us to keep them on this wonderful journey with us, as always.
As always, thanks for your time. I appreciate your knowledge and have a great day. And I hope you enjoyed that video. And if you did, follow me on LinkedIn, or better yet, subscribe to my YouTube channel. I am a Zoom Distinguished Architect. I am not a figurehead or a spokesman for Zoom. I like to talk about cool technology, and a lot of times that has to deal with Zoom. Have a great day.